What's up, guys? Carlos Morrow here, aka The Hero, coming at you with a chest day video. This is not my normal gym that I go to. I went to go visit my girlfriend because we were celebrating her graduating from college, and we were in New York for a couple days. So then we came back to Texas, and I really like the gym that's out here, Fast Fitness. I really like it because it has a lot of equipment, a lot of old-fashioned equipment. I really like just the feel of the gym. Plus, there's nobody ever here. So, hey, basically with chest day, this one's very straightforward. Basically, did some old-fashioned movements. Basically with this bench pressing, very simple. The way I do it is I do it the way Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do it, just because, for one, I mean, come on, he had one of the greatest chests of all time. And then also, too, just for me, it's just I get a better mind-muscle connection. I really love the stretch. Very important with this, I do not have my elbows completely flared out. That just, you want to keep all that pressure away from your shoulders. I let the bar come down to right above or under my nipple, just because in that position I'm able to go ahead and hit. For me, I'm able to feel the bottom portion of my chest, the middle, and the upper part. I feel like that's just that good sweet spot. Basically, I did 2 warm-up sets, and then gradually went up weight. Right with these, I normally hit 15. With this, though, the last 2 sets that I did, which you can see right here, this was my last set, but even the set before this, I only hit about 10 to 12 reps. Just because at that point, with that same amount of weight, my chest was just shot. I couldn't do it, just because like I said, I haven't benched in such a long time. But all that really matters, again, with Ed, and that's all you guys are ever gonna hear from me, is all that matters is how you make the weight feel, and how you control that weight. That's all that really matters. It doesn't matter about the weight, or I only could do 50 pounds. If you can only do 50 pounds, that's fine, no big deal. Right after flat bench pressing, I went into the incline, and just like Arnold, I went nice and wide. I let the bar come right at the top part of my chest, right under my chin, to get a really good stretch. Before, I was not able to do this. Naturally, for me, I felt like form-wise, my hands closer. Me going down kind of hurts my shoulder, but wider, I feel like I'm able to get a better range of motion. And then plus, I feel like I get a way better contraction. Again, if you guys look, the weight, before I was using 25s at least to go up weight. With this, I only use 10s, just because that's pretty much all I personally need. But with the last set that I did, I went up to 30. With the last 2 sets, I went up to 35, just because I did feel a little bit stronger. But as you guys can see, I never really deal with too much weight, just because that really doesn't matter to me, or in bodybuilding in general. If you go on stage, or if you go up to people, it never really matters. The people aren't going to look and say, oh, you can do this. It's all about the look. It's all about the feel and how you control that weight. With this, again, I was aiming for 15. Only hit about 12 or 10. People always ask me why I'm always covered up, especially in Texas, because it's hot. I don't sweat all that much, but not just that, but I just really just enjoy the heat. Honestly, I like to feel covered up, and then at the end of my workout, I like to see what's under, because all that heat does keep in your pump. So that's just a personal thing with me. I really like to do that. Guys, Nino and Kai Green, they both cover up all the time, and those are 2 of my favorite bodybuilders. So it's also one of those things too. Third exercise, Pectoral Flyes. I really usually normally with any type of chest workout, I normally do 2 pressing movements, then go into a fly normally. So I haven't done the pec deck in such a long time, so I always hit about 20 reps. I really never go anything lighter than that when it comes down to the pec deck or cable flies. So yeah, with this, I line my elbows to where I want to feel my chest, and I align it right in the middle because I want to hit every part. I want to be able to squeeze the top part of my chest, the middle, and the bottom. You want to be able to squeeze everything, like if you were to show off to somebody like how big your chest is. So basically, each time that you go back, you want to feel a really good stretch, and then and you want to make sure that you're squeezing all the way through. I was dealing with lighter weight at the in the first set. If you look at my face, I was still struggling because you always want to find the most efficient weight that you can do to where you can make your chest or any muscle hurt as much as possible. You never necessarily need heavy weight. Like, my heavy weight is different than somebody else's. I've worked out with plenty of people who can lift heavier than me. But, at the end of the day, I'm concentrating more. So, who really wins at the end of the day? So, big thing with this is that people just kind of go through the motion, and people feel like they need to bring them all the way in. I kind of just go until like I really feel a really good contraction all the way through. So sometimes you'll see that I'm the two handles might touch, and sometimes they don't, just because it all depends on how you feel. And right here, as you can see, like I just started dying, and my chest was on fire at this point. But still had to hit that 20. So with these, always like around 3 to 4 sets of 28, I normally do. I was going to end it with only 4 workouts, but I forgot that this machine was here. I don't have this at any gym near me, and I really love this machine and how it feels, the flat hammer press. This machine is one of my favorites. I was going to start with this one, but I've been starting with a lot of hammer strength movements back home, so I was like, I'll try to incorporate it in there. So with this one, I like it because the handles don't go anywhere. They stay in a fixed position, so you just got to go up and down. I really like that. I like the way that it feels. With this, I feel like my whole chest, and I guess that's why I really like it, because again, I feel it from the upper part all the way to the bottom. It really gives you an awesome stretch, and I think that's a big thing a lot of people always forget about any movement, is that they don't go for that stretch. They just go up and down, but again, if you can't feel a stretch only in your chest, then what are you feeling? That's why people always end up developing bigger triceps or bigger shoulders, and it's because they're not concentrating. You got to put your mind into that muscle. So on the way down, you got to find that stretch and then say, okay, now I'm able to come up. I always tell my clients, once you feel a stretch, you're allowed to come up. So yeah, this I only did about 4 sets of 12, and then I moved to machine dips. I never do body weight dips. I really don't. It's hard for me to feel a contraction. I kind of sometimes just feel it more so in my triceps or shoulder. So I always prefer machine dips. So with this, you can kind of see I move back and forth. Like I kind of lean a little bit forward to get a good stretch, and then I move back just to get that contraction. I'm aiming for the bottom portion of my chest. That's a big thing that I plan on trying to work on, because I feel like that's a weak point for me. But yeah, with this one, I would say weight does matter in a way. Like, you do want to make sure that you're going relatively heavy, because a lot of, even if you do go relatively light, to feel, I noticed that the more weight that I put on the machines, the better I feel my chest. So some people say, like, I've talked to other people in gyms, and they're like, oh no, I don't do this because I don't feel it. But when we work out and we put on more weight, they tend to say, wow, I feel my chest is on fire. So hey, try that if you don't really try dips. But this was the ending movement for chest, and then I did some triceps just a little bit. I went into the rope pull downs. I always somehow rope pull downs go into my tricep routine. So with this, basically just very straightforward. I lean forward just a slight bit and make sure that my elbows are always pointing towards the floor, and make sure that I don't move from that position. And as I go down, I focus on I'm focusing on that squeeze, which is very, very important. I don't want to just go down and just pull it down. I try to make sure that my shoulders and my chest are not getting into it, and that my body is not really rocking. With this, my triceps honestly were really, really shot after doing dips. So the last two movements, I couldn't get 15 in. I only got about 10 to 12, and with those, you'll kind of see that I started to rock, and I was just like, I'm just gonna force it. I do have my days where I do feel like, just throwing some weight around and just not really focusing. So that's what I kind of started to do right here. I started to get tired, and to focus and to be disciplined with form, I really couldn't do. So I was like, just forget it. I'm just going to throw it down. And then I went into easy bar skull crushers. I always like to, I used to do them flat. I actually feel like for some reason it's a lot better doing them on an incline. So right here, basically, you want the bar to go behind your head. That's what I do. And with this also, if you're not used to these, I would suggest going slower, but with this, I'm kind of used to it by now. So I make sure that I go as low as I possibly can, because you need your triceps. With this, with any overhead movement, you need to make sure that you get a good stretch on those triceps, because getting a contraction per se all the way at the top, it's kind of harder to do than compared to doing row pull downs or any type of extension. But with like overhead movements, I personally feel like the stretch on the way down is the most important part. So I go down, and I go sometimes, well, not with this one, but most of the time I go right before my arms locks. With this, I was just going for purely reps and just purely strength per se. I was watching a tricep video with Ronnie Coleman, and he was, dude was huge. So I kind of just was like, yeah, I'm just going to mimic what he was kind of doing. So that's why you guys kind of see me just go down as low as possible, not really bring it all that high. That's personally just the reason, just to flush a lot of blood into my triceps and just go for strength, I guess. So with this, I just stuck with 20 reps just because for the time being, with any like skull crushers or anything stronger like this, I've just been going higher reps just for the time being, just because I like it. And my location where I'm at, the gyms I have, we don't have overhead tricep extension machine. So, I always take advantage when I'm here. I really like it. I like the way that it feels. But by this point, again, my triceps were destroyed. So I could not get in that many reps. I only got about 12 to 10. By this point, with my exercise with triceps, I just started going to failure. I'm like, I'm just going to stick to a weight and, just go till failure. As you guys can see, I do go as low as I possibly can without moving my elbows all too much. I don't go all the way up just because I kind of feel like it gets into my shoulder, and I don't like it. So I just try to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, I only did about 4 sets for each of my tricep exercises, just because, by this point, that's all I needed. It wasn't really an arm day. It was just a little bit of a touch-up. My biceps overpower my triceps when it comes down to doing poses or whatever. So really got to get that's something I really got to take advantage of during this bulk. And as you guys can see, I do look a little bit not conditioned, just taking in a lot more calories, a lot more food. So that's why I look the way that I do. And as you guys can see right here, this is my current condition, how I look. Obviously not the most appealing right now. Just size is just the prize right now. Basically just trying to work on some weak points. Big weak point out of anything, biggest weak point that I'm going to try to take advantage of is my legs. You guys will see in a later video what I mean, but basically always, besides that, I always wanted a bigger chest, a chest that's very significant, to where like that's one of the first things. My arms have always been very big, but besides that, I got to work on traps, obviously a bigger back. I want to work on everything, but biggest points obviously is chest, back, and legs, biggest thing. But that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and let me know what you guys want to see in later videos. This is Carlos signing off.